Hello, greetings, and salutations. Welcome aboard my podcast. I am Jason with Jay's Paradise Travels. Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience with the St. Louis Cardinals, a baseball team that I saw some years ago, back in 2017. I'd like to tell you about it and also maybe whet your appetite, maybe something you'd like to go. And if so, reach out to me, let me know. And along those lines, I'll do a little housekeeping to start the podcast. If you do want to reach out to me to catch a game, to go see the Cardinals, some other game, or if you'd like to go on a cruise, which is my specialty, that's my bread and butter, you can reach out to me in a couple different ways, one of which you can email me. My email is j.paradise.travels@gmail.com, and that J is J-A-Y.paradise.travels@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to me through social media. I have Instagram and I have Facebook. Both of them are the same. Jay's Paradise Travels. That is Jays. There's no apostrophe in that. Jay's Paradise Travels. You can look me up on Instagram or Facebook, and you can reach out to me that way as well. All right. So now that we've got that housekeeping out of the way, let's talk about my experience with the St. Louis Cardinals. I had been to St. Louis before to catch a Blues game. Before I had seen the Cardinals, I never got to see the Rams. The Rams ended up moving out to California again, so uh, didn't get to see them. But the Blues, that will be a different podcast. But for today, for the Cardinals, it'll just be this one. And when I was going out there, when I saw the Blues, I actually went out there to go see the Blues. The time that I went to go see the Cardinals, I actually was out there for training. And I'll talk a little bit about that. So years ago, before I got married, I had worked for Continental Airlines, which eventually merged with United Airlines. And at the time of me getting married, I was a flight attendant for United Airlines. It was a little difficult to be flying away from my wife all the time and not to be home with her, especially within our first year of marriage. So I had eventually given that up. And at the time, I was living in Houston, and we eventually moved back up to Detroit, where I'm originally from. My wife's not from here, so it's back for me. It wasn't back for her. Anyway, we moved up to Detroit, help out my parents. My mom had a lot of health issues, and so we wanted to help them out. And I'm an only child too. We move up here and start living life up here in Detroit. A couple years go on. I start working for Delta Airlines on the ramp. I'm at home every night with my wife, so yay for that. But I want to say in 2017, so we had been married now at that point, 6, 7 years ish, between 6 to 7 years. And I thought to myself, I miss being in flight. I miss the job itself because being a flight attendant was probably one of my favorite jobs, like job wise of all time. It kind of suited my personality. I love to travel, right? I have a travel agency business. I do love to travel, and I do love serving people. So there was those aspects that I found appealing. The only issue with it was the scheduling was, no pun intended, always up in the air, and that was kind of difficult, especially first year. Well, 6, 7 years into my marriage, I'm thinking, okay, we've been around a little bit. I could probably I missed the job, and I could probably leave and not be too bad. So I ended up applying for one of the smaller regional carriers that worked with Delta and worked with United. So they weren't going to like the big, humongous major cities in the big airplanes. They were going to the smaller ones and the smaller airplanes. And I was going to St. Louis to do training for them. And I ended up being like a month and a half long training course that I went out there for this. Longest time I'd ever been away from Selena, and no doubt it will probably be ever the longest time. I don't ever plan to be away from her that long again. I mean, who knows what could happen in the future, but as of right now, that I can't imagine being away that long ever again. So I go out there, I go through training. And training was intense. It was throughout the week. I had the weekends off, which was nice, but it was throughout the week. It was an intense training. You might not think flight attendants go through intense training, but they do. And a lot of it is not always just service. Service is part of it, but a lot of the training that they go through actually deals with security issues, safety issues, evacuations, things that could happen on the airplane. That's what a big majority of the focus is on. Other things are included as well, such as service and scheduling and things like that. But it's a lot of security, and evacuations is a big thing too. So it was an intense training. 6 weeks of it got done, and there was a bunch of different types of finals, a written tests, a verbal test, an evacuation test, all those type of tests, right? And our class got broken up into different um, groups that had to do different ones. Long story short, by the time Selena came out and graduation was here, and by the time I got to go to this game, I had got to complete all of those different tests, and I passed all of them. There were still some of my classmates that had to wait until like the next day or whatever it was to be able to finish it all off before graduation. I was done with all of them, so I could just relax, enjoy the weekend. Selena was in town. My parents came as well. They were staying at a hotel. Selena actually got to stay with me in my room at my hotel, um, and I got to just relax, enjoy having her with me after a month and a half. And I had some friends that I had met out there and had gotten to know over that a course of a month and a half. I had some friends before who I went and visited the Blues, and then I met some other friends too. So combination of them, and the ones that I had known before allowed me to borrow their car. They couldn't make it to the game, but they allowed me to borrow their car. And the newer friends that I had made had actually got a couple tickets for me to be able to go to the game. And I was really excited about going because I'm in St. Louis as part of my hobby, and you know, I want to be able to go see the Cardinals. I probably could have seen them during training, but it was such an intense training that a lot of your free time you had to study everything that you were going through. You had to practice your evacuation, all that stuff. We were doing it, and we were doing it as a class. Sometimes, I mean, you could do it individually, you could do it as a class. I feel like I'm talking more about the training than I am actually about the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm building it all up as to show you this was all part of the experience. Go through all that. I could have probably seen a game like during the on the during the week if they had a night game, but it was just too busy. I ended up opting to do it after it was all said and done. I'm glad, and that's kind of how I am, anyways. I like to get the hard stuff out of the way first, and then enjoy the good stuff. Because if I do the good stuff first, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I still got to do this and this afterwards, and then deal with the hard stuff afterwards. So I'm glad I was able to get that intense training done, pass it all, and get to go to this game. We ended up going to St. Louis, and we got there a little early. Game hadn't started yet, and we actually got to kind of walk around the city a little bit. And not far away is that Gateway Arch that's in St. Louis. Very famous structure. We got to go over there, see it, take some pictures. It's right next to the water. Beautiful arch is something St. Louis is kind of known for, and got to enjoy that before we ended up going to the game. Um, and I it's a landmark, and I appreciate being able to see something like that. So that's kind of cool. If you ever get to go to St. Louis and see a Cardinals game, definitely go and take a look at that Gateway Arch. It's an impressive thing to look at. Go to the game, and it was the game itself. How do I put this nicely? It was a pitcher's duel, defense oriented. I say that because this was the first time I had ever gone to a game and it went into extra innings, tied at 0. 0. Not a single run by either team. 9 innings worth of sitting there watching pitchers strike them out and defense holding and nobody. Now, if you're a fan of baseball and you like a good pitcher's duel, then you would have loved this. Now, that's not saying every St. Louis Cardinal game is going to be like that, right? That's just kind of how it goes. But the game I went to, the one that me and Selena went to, ended up being a pitcher's duel, and not a single run for 9 innings. Didn't get a run in the 10th inning, didn't get a run in the 11th inning, didn't get a run in the 12th inning. It took 13 innings before we finally saw our first run. And there was a rain delay. We ended up having a rain delay, I believe, near the end, which was crazy. We could have, because I remember thinking we could have got on here even earlier If they would have just, if someone would have scored a run, we could have been out of here. But because they took so long to score something, um, and then the rain delay came, we had to sit it out. Now, thankfully, we were able to have umbrellas with us and use them in the stadium. Not every stadium will allow an umbrella. Not every stadium's different with their policies and what they allow, what they don't allow. Some people allow bags, some people don't allow bags, some people allow seat back cushions, some people don't. I say people, stadiums. Some stadiums allow umbrellas and some stadiums don't. Thank goodness. I was at a stadium that allowed an umbrella so I could, sit there. Now at that point, Selena was she went back in the corridor. She didn't feel like sitting in the rain, even if it was with an umbrella. I'm just sitting there by myself, just waiting it out. Yeah, fun times. All to see a game going to 13 innings without a run. At one point, I thought this was kind of cool because we were on the first base line, lower level, excellent seats. A couple things that were kind of cool that happened. One, since we were on that first base line, kind of close. And I mean, you can just look over, you see, I mean, nice view of the pitcher and the catcher and the batter. I thought they were excellent seats. But we had a pop fly that came in my area. Now Selena was up and back there because it wasn't raining hard where they had the delay, but it was still drizzling enough where still something was coming down. So I had an umbrella in my hand and only had one hand free. And I was like, this ball is coming right at me. I wish I had my glove. I will. This always happens to me. I will bring my glove and will be nowhere near a foul ball or a home run ball. I forget my glove or don't bring a glove, and a ball comes right to me. And I probably could be able to catch it with my bare hand. I probably do have that ability, the dexterity, to be able to see it, locate it, catch it. But I'm a little nervous to do it. I'm a little scared to do it because that can hurt. I've heard stories, and I mean I've seen it done, and people seem to have done it successfully, and I guess they're okay. I'm a little nervous to do it, so I didn't want to catch it with my bare hand. Let the ball hit the ground and bounce. Well, another guy. So I went to go see if I could grab it. Again, I'm having one hand on an umbrella and you know get the rain coming down my face, looking up for it, trying to track it, and I don't want to catch it. Let it bounce. Well, another guy, he comes, he pushes me out of the way to get the ball, and there was that moment or two. You know how everyone's got like that fight or flight type of reaction to things, and I think mine is naturally geared towards fighting back. Um, I had to restrain myself, like just a ball. Let him have it. For that first few seconds or so, I got annoyed and mad with the guy, like, what a punk. But I was like, hey, it's just a ball. It's no big deal. It's just a ball. So let it go. Still, was kind of cool that I was that close to it and almost could have had it. If I would have had my glove, definitely. Again, when I don't bring my glove, that happens. If I did bring my glove, nothing, of course. And then the other cool thing that happened was they had like a camera. I think it was in our section or right next to us, one of the two. But the way it was angled, showing the crowd, like we got on the scoreboard, which was kind of cool. I look up, I was like, all right, hey, there we are. I'd never been on a scoreboard before at a baseball game. I'd been on them in hockey games before, but never a baseball game. So that was kind of cool. I was on a scoreboard. Not that it was on us for very long or on me very long. It wasn't even like me directly. Sometimes if you see the scoreboard, it's like directly looking at a person or two people. This was more of like the section I was sitting in, but I was there. I was on it, so that was kind of cool. Beautiful stadium too. You know, oh, before I get into the stadium, let me finish. So that was kind of cool about the game itself. I mean, something that was kind of worthwhile during 12 innings worth of zero runs. That's a lot to sit through without seeing a home run or anything, right? Well, in the 13th inning, they were playing the San Francisco Giants, by the way, who I think St. Louis had a better record at the time. But anyways, San Francisco ended up getting a few runs. No, I don't even think they were home runs. I think there was the first one was like bases may have been loaded, and there was a double, and that brought in a couple runs, and then another sac fly. That anyway, something to that effect. They ended up scoring 3 runs in the top of the 13th. In the bottom of the 13th, when St. Louis came around, I mean, you're down 3-0 in a game that you've gone 12 innings without scoring a run. You think, and sure enough, no. But they did end up getting 1 run, and that was it. So the final score for this ball game was 3-1. San Francisco beat the St. Louis Cardinals, and that's okay. Being if you're live, being at a game live is always awesome, and whenever there's a home run hit or runs that are being scored, it's always exciting. And that's what I love about being at a game live. Anyways, I love that exciting atmosphere. I'll give them credit. St. Louis did have a lot of fans. You can tell that they are definitely passionate about their baseball team. The stadium was full. Um, they do love their Cardinals, and I mean, I kind of have a little bit somewhat bad memory of them because in my lifetime, I was born in November of '84, and it was at the end of October of '84 that the Tigers won the World Series. So in my lifetime, I've never seen a Detroit Tigers World Series victory, and I've only seen them twice be in the World Series. The first time was '06, and they lost to the St. Louis Cardinals. And the other team they lost was the San Francisco Giants. I saw these two teams, the two teams that beat the Tigers in the World Series in my lifetime. I saw them play. Anyways, so, but that's for it's besides the point. St. Louis, it definitely you can tell it's like a baseball town, especially the football team's gone since I forgot when they moved back to California to become the St. Louis Rams or the Los Angeles Rams, whatever years ago that was. But anyways, yeah, you can tell they're a baseball town. They love their Cardinals, and it is a nice town. We got the Gateway Arch. They got a beautiful zoo too that we did get to spend some time in seeing, and yeah, nice town to go visit. Again, if you want to go visit them, let me know. As regards to the stadium itself, um, again, very nice stadium on the outside. We took some pictures. Nice, beautiful brick stadium. I believe because some stadiums you go to they're a little older, right? And that's cool too. Historical stadiums are cool too. And St. Louis, I think, did have a stadium that they like tore down and rebuilt this one. It's called Bush Stadium, by the way, and their attendance is around. I mean, their capacity is around 46,000, and I think I looked it up. The attendance that day they had like 45,000. So again, it was a full stadium for uh, you know um, it was a Friday night maybe. So kind of on the weekend, but yeah, I mean they were full, and maybe during the week they're full too. I don't know. I've never been. It wasn't during the week that I went. Anyways, their stadium is nice to go see, and I love that when you're inside the stadium, depending on where you're sitting, but you can look out, on the outfield and see the skyline behind it, as well as that arch. That's kind of part of the view that you got to see. And from my seat, when I looked out there, I could see the scoreboard, I could see the arch in the background. So that was real nice. Um, it was kind of an interesting thing. This was the first time I'd ever seen this. I don't know if all baseball stadiums do this or not, but they did it. This was like pet day at the park. You know, um, bring your pet. I was say bring your pet to work day, but bring your pet to the ball game. We came in. I'm seeing people with their dogs, and they may have had their cats too. I, I think it was pet day, or maybe it was just dog day. I remember seeing more dogs than anything. And even they had a giveaway of like a dog bowl. Like you just give away like a bobblehead or a T-shirt or something or a hat. Their giveaway was a dog bowl, and there's people. I've never seen animals inside of a stadium before, aside from like a service animal. But no, just someone's pet. I never seen that before in a stadium, and I don't go to every team in all their games. So that might be a normal thing that happens for each team during the year. One day, one game is bring your pet to the ballpark. Maybe the Padres who play at Petco Park, maybe they do it too. I don't know when I went there, which that will be another episode another time. Um, they didn't have bring your pet to the game. There was no pets at Petco Park, at least none that I saw. So this was the first time I had been to a game that allowed their pets for that game. I don't think that's a every game. I think it's just a one time. special day for them. You can bring your pets, and believe me, people love their pets. To some people, their pets are their children. They start talking to them. You think they're talking about kids. They're talking about their dogs or they're talking about their cats. And it's like, oh, you're referring to animals. Okay, got it. Now I can picture this in my head. Continue on with your story. That's what it feels like sometimes because people love them. So that was for those people that love their pets and they love the Cardinals. They got to, bring their pets to the game. So that was kind of cool. I don't recall seeing anybody with any birds, thinking that they are the Cardinals bird. But at the same time, I don't think anyone has a pet cardinal either. Yeah. So, and they are the Cardinals, referring to the bird. I've had a podcast before where not too long ago where I saw the Stanford Cardinal, and it was only up until recently that I learned they are not referring to the bird; they are referring to the color, and blew my mind when I learned that. I was like, this whole time I thought they were talking about birds, but the St. Louis Cardinals, it is plural, Cardinals, and they are referring to a bird, and their logo is a little cardinal bird sitting on top of a baseball bat. It is a bird that they're referring to. Again, nice time there. I was at the end of a long training. Glad that my wife could join me with it. Glad I got to go see that game. Wish it would have been a little bit more scoring, but again, if you enjoy baseball and you can appreciate a pitcher's duel and you can appreciate defense, that would have been you would have loved that game. 0-0 going into inning 13 before they finally cracked it. It was like someone's got to win this game, and a rain delay on top of it. We were there for a while. But 3-1 San Francisco beat the St. Louis Cardinals. And that's okay. For one day, I was a Cardinal fan. As I say, when I go to visit a team, unless they're playing one of my hometown teams in Detroit, which doesn't happen often, but I've gone to some of those games. But if not, I'll root for the home team for one game. For one day, I was a St. Louis Cardinals fan. And I did enjoy my time there. And hopefully you would too, if you'd like to go see it. If you'd like to go see the Cardinals, if you'd like to go see that arch, if you want to go see their zoo, take a trip to St. Louis, reach out to me. Let me know. I will be happy to help work that with you. I would love to work with you to help you get there. So you can reach out to me again. If you want to email me, my email is j dot paradise_travels@gmail.com. That's my email address. Or if you want to reach out to me through social media, you can reach out to me, Jays, Jays with no apostrophe, Jay's Paradise Travels, either Facebook or Instagram, either one of those can work, and you can reach out to me that way. And of course, if you do like this podcast, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share it with other people. Do all those things that us podcasters need in order to keep our podcast going and be able to help build up the channel. And for me, this is also a business to try to continue to build up and work as well. It's not just something I'm doing as a hobby or for fun. Some people's channels, they might talk about a variety of different things, and awesome. This is not only just me talking and sharing experience. This is me, uh, you know, doing a business as well. So, love to have you subscribe. Love to have you like it, share it with other people, have them reach out to me as well if they'd like to go. Thank you for listening today. Appreciate it. And hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. And I'll talk to you guys again another time soon. Take care. Bye bye.